Guys, welcome back to Trend Talks. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Miraj, and as always, don't forget to like, to share, and most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. So hold on, guys. I'm aware today is the D-Day, and of course, it's Prince Archie's 6th birthday. I am fully aware. I cannot believe that he's already 6. Just recently, he was a baby. They sure do grow up so fast. So happy birthday, Prince Archie. We love you. We wish you good health, good, success, prosperity. We know you're in the most amazing hands. You have the most awesome parents on the planet who are very loving, very protective of you, and they're doing everything they possibly can to make the world a better place. And we want you to remember when you grow up, just how much you're loved and you're supported. And also your sister, we are riding for you and your sister a little bit. We defend you, we support you, and we'll always be here to remind you just how much loved and valued you are. So now let's get to business. Piers Morgan is back at it again. I am not making this up. This man has never healed or gotten over the fact that Meghan turned him down. So since that day, he's been throwing tantrums right and left. Because why? Meghan dared to turn him down. He's like, how dare you? I'm Piers Morgan. You turn me down? You refuse to be besties with me? So I'm going to show you. And since then, he's just been all over the place throwing tantrums because he was turned down. It reminds me of those teenage boys back in high school when you turn them down, they go out of the way, they tear your books, they rip your, they just do weird things to get attention because you turn them down. It's like, oh, I'm going to do everything I possibly can so you pay attention to me. I think that's the vibe Piers Morgan has been doing or has been giving for years. So now he's literally out here inciting his viewers or trying to convince his viewers that Americans loathe and hate Harry. Can you imagine that? He's gone out of his way to literally try to incite his viewers. Okay, he's always not to incite hatred toward Harry and Meghan, but now he's trying to convince people that Americans cannot stand Harry and Meghan, and that is just a lie. And people are eating him up in the comments, especially Americans. Like, what did you just say? You don't speak for all of the Americans. So Piers took to X as always, and he had an opinion. He brought in a bunch of experts or clowns, like I like to call them. He brought in a bunch of clowns, and he said Americans despise Harry and Meghan. At the Daily Mail's Maureen Callahan gives her experience of how the couple are perceived in the US, describing Harry as paranoid and delusional. The fact that this person is from Daily Mail, that just tells me everything. Daily Mail is known to lie, to just write everything they can for clicks and for clicks and for money. They just have been lying over and over. So what do you mean you're going to take the credibility of a so-called columnist, a Daily Mail columnist? Come on. That is just crazy. That is some shoddy work. So Americans are actually backing Harry and saying, hey, you don't speak for all Americans. Literally, what makes you think that nearly 350 million Americans hate Harry and Meghan? And also, this also reminds me back then when Niall Gardner, all this so-called, the monarchy tried everything in their power to have Harry be deported back to the UK, and it backfired. They wanted his immigration records to be made public because he had admitted to substance abuse in his book Spare, and it backfired. And you had people saying, oh, Americans cannot stand Harry, they want Harry to be deported, they don't want him in the US, they want him to take Meghan and the kids to leave. But Americans are like, no, hold up, we really genuinely don't care. We have so many pressing issues to deal with. We have no time to care about what other people or what's going on or the monarchy. They were reminded that. And now Piers clearly, and I know King Charles sent him, because you remember the bombshell BBC interview that Harry did after he lost the security court case, remember? And it just showed the world how vile, how disgusting, how rotten King Charles is and the left royals are. So now Americans are literally telling Piers, shut up. You literally don't speak. Just because one person says, hey, we cannot stand Harry and Meghan, that does not mean it's the entire America. And this is what I keep saying. People like Piers Morgan, who use the platforms, Jeremy Vine, the so-called royal experts, the derangers, they cannot understand that there are people out there who genuinely love Harry and Meghan, and they will go out of their way to make it seem, come up with instances or whatever that people don't like Harry and Meghan, when it's not just true. It's not true, because everywhere Harry is or everywhere Meghan they go to, they are well received, they're well embraced. There's love, there's cheers, there's applause. What about King Charles and Camilla? They are always met with boos. Even it's always with boos. They're always cold. They're lazy. And in light of this interview, a lot people have seen so much that is going on beyond, happening in the monarchy. So Americans took to X as well, and they were just retaliating back, telling Piers, hey, you need to take a chill pill. This is not happening. So Cosmic Wanderer said, we don't really think about them. Actually, we don't think much about Prince William and Kate Middleton either. Actually, I take it back. There are few pathetic people in this country with no hobbies or fulfillment in life who care about royal family drama. Did you hear that? And then Colin says, what is it that makes you so obsessed with Meghan? Is it just because she blew you out? Is that really all it is? Oh no, this is crazy. And then Chris says, sorry, oh my god, when will you stop with this? There is a sexual PE in the family, and you're focusing on a fellow who had a traumatic childhood and some rotten parenting, who speaks out of turn. That is, I like what people call these people out. And then Michael says, I'm American, I got no problem with them. You have such a pathetic figure as king. He's terrible. And listen, this interview has really shown who King Charles is. He's not going to manipulate his way out of this the way he did manipulate his way out of Princess Diana Odile. And then Verity says, you are all pathetic human beings. You just can't keep them out of your mouth because they make you money, you hypocritical people. You are certainly not journalists or news presenters, because all you do is gossip about people. That's all they do. And they like bringing in Harry and Meghan because that's how they get engagement. They talk about William and Kate, oh, they're going to flop. And they're going to flop so bad. And then Rick Diddy says, she's spoken for herself. Focus on your facts and not assumptions. Your fixation on them is too much. I don't know what you want to achieve. Exactly. What do you want to achieve, Piers? And then Robin Smith says, I hope you read these posts and are proud of the hate you're inciting. Jesus, can you stop already? I know you make squillions from mentioning their names, but just stop. Stop and focus on what's happening the VE Day. Everything, there's so much that's happening. Why are you not talking about that? Why are you keep saying Harry and Meghan are irrelevant, but day in, day out, you plaster them on your television, on your channels, you talk about them on your tabloids. Make it make sense. Talk about William, Kate, and the leftover royals. That is all you need to say. And then New Labour says, you're just a bully, Piers, a sniveling creep of a bully. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And then Pam says, this is the latest polling conducting by the Times. Sky News, 5 out of 25, that is 56% of Americans had a positive view of Prince Harry. Point, never accept a royal reporter's opinion on what 342 million Americans think. They are a diverse group. Maureen's source is, exactly, I told you, you can't trust anyone from Daily Mail. How can one person speak for 342 million people? Just make it make sense. And then Elle says, not surprised. Piers Morgan would have someone as toxic as Maureen Callahan on his program. The words that come out of her mouth is as vile as it is wrong. True. I totally agree with you. And then that was from Elle. Hold on. I think I mixed something up. That was from Elle. And then Mark V says, sick and obsessed. Seems you can't make money without mentioning Prince Harry's name. Like I just mentioned, they can't. And then Paula says, no, we don't. Maybe white America, but not black people. She's our official niece. Absolutely. And then Annette says, oh, look, another small-minded panel of a vile mob, none of which will offer you any pushback, because then it can't be uncensored. As for that Maureen cat, she wouldn't have a bloody clue. All she does is write lies. She's from Daily Mail. That alone should tell you everything of who she is. What happened to journalism, you may ask? I mean, in UK, you can't trust journalism. You can never trust journalism in UK. And then Daryl says, not Daryl. Well, Trump says, no, we love Harry and Meghan. We sure do. Daniel says, so ridiculous and brainless. Just a bunch of schoolyard bullies traumatizing yesterday. Louis showed some character in public. Is he the future royal pace on? Will Piers and these lovely laces with the king do all they can to eliminate him in future as they did Diana and now Harry? Good question. And then Late said, every American, feck me, how long did it take you to ask them all? Yeah, did you ask the 342 Americans? Clearly, you cannot speak. One person does not speak for an entire country. Get a grip, Piers. And then what is wrong? Michael says, seek help, Piers. These derangers, these so-called experts, haters, just seek help. The obsession you have for Harry and Meghan needs to be studied. Clearly, there's something wrong. And then Louis Revel says, yet you say like them. As for you, no, you are obsessed. True, people love Harry and Meghan. And then Dor says, can you not get over Meghan's knockback? She didn't want you, so you start a H&M vendetta. Come on, might be so kind. Get your back over your daughter. Hope you don't whine on when it happens. A lot of these people who attack Harry and Meghan have kids as well. Their parents, most of them are husbands, they have wives or whatever, but they literally continue attacking. Imagine if the same thing were to happen to their kids. Like Jeremy recently ran on seeking sympathy because his bike was stolen, because trolling came from online to real life. It happens, but these people do not ever learn. Then Silly says, don't speak for me. Exactly. Who are you, Piers, to speak on behalf of Americans as to why or whether Harry and Meghan are well loved or not loved? Who the hell are you? Get a grip and focus on your life. There's a lot that's happening. Talk about William, Kate, Charles, and whatever. And I know right now, since that interview, they paid Piers as their machine now to incite more hatred towards Harry and Meghan. But now the world has seen people are rallying behind Harry and Meghan, sending so much love, sending so much support, and we're here for it. So guys, tell me what you think. These people, Americans, are retaliating. Do not, and I repeat, speak for them. As always, I'm Miraj. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned, stay safe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.